Tuesday. We got to work.
It's supposed to be the bunker with you.
The bus would already leave, right?
Exactly. You didn't miss that bus. 40-yard dash. Tapes it up. Good. The open week allowed our coaches and players to just rest mentally and physically, and what we're able to do is just turn our attention just to the small details, and we're able to execute at practice. And what's important now is that we have 2 games left. This is a 2-game season, and our players understand that. We have Connecticut, who's coming into town, very physical football team. And you watch them play, they love to run the ball on offense, so it's going to be a great test for our defense, see if we can go stop the run. And then just defensively, they're a team on defense where they apply a lot of pressure. Big guys up front, don't do a lot. They just want to win at the line of scrimmage. And on special teams, we have to make something happen. All year long, we haven't been able to do anything on special teams, just make something happen, but we got to get that done. And this with this football team right now, it's all about our focus and our preparation. And it's not, we control our own destiny from here out. It's not what anyone's going to do to us, it's what we're going to do to ourselves. And it's the key right now, and what's the key for us is just our effort, our preparation, just heading into these next 2 games and just making sure that we are mentally and physically locked in.
You feel like you did get a lot accomplished during the weekend?
What we did is we practiced on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we got a lot of things done. And just more of anything, we had a chance to just go against one another, just offense and defense.
What have these seniors meant to the process of building this program?
You know, on Saturday is going to be senior day, and just appreciate what they've done. If you look at what this senior class, 3 straight bowl games. Last season was co-champions of the Big East. And just look at, you think about Stein, you think about Cup, you think about Mario, Andrell, Radcliffe. Those guys on offense have played their best football. And then on defense, with Daniel Brown having an injury early, may be able to play these next. If he's not able to play against Connecticut, we'll be ready for the Rutgers game. And then with Boucher playing the way he's played. But this senior class, when we came in, we talked about our foundation. And I just feel like this group is a part of us because they've been with us for 3 years. And they've been a part of watching this program build. And you cannot ask for a strong group of seniors with the leadership that they provided for this season.
So did it feel weird to kind of have a second bye week in the season? And I mean, did this one kind of come at a good time for you?
You know, it came at a great time for us. You're looking at a football team that's still 9-1, and what we wanted to do in this bye week is that game's behind us. The Syracuse game is behind us. Get that game away, and then just focus on the next 2, and just focus on ourselves and making ourselves and this football team better.
Charlie, where do you stand from a physical standpoint? You feel good about where you are? You're hurt?
We're great right now, just physically. We lose Sonoris, who was a big loss to us, but with everyone else, we're health issue. Malden just don't know yet if he'd be ready to go play against Connecticut, hoping you can get him back for Rutgers. And D'Angelo Brown, just don't know where you are with him. But with everyone else, with Daniel Brown coming back now, could give us a boost there on defense. We just feel pretty good about where we are with our guys and just how we're going to be able to go prepare with the guys that we do have.
What are your plans for running back now? What's your...
Well, we're going to do a running back. Jeremy Wright is going to be the starter, and Corbin Lamb has been taking reps. And if we have to use Dominique Brown, if we have to, we will. We want to go win a championship, but right now we're going to go with those 2, with Corbin Lamb and with Jeremy Wright.
How's Lamb look in practice and so forth?
Well, he's been practicing, and even when we had Sonoris, you had 3 backs at the time, and Corbin took a lot of reps then. So nothing new will be you know, he knows what's going on, he knows the offense, and even in that Syracuse game, he was able to bust out there with a 53-yard touchdown pass.
Will the split between those two be like it was with Sonoris and Jeremy, or is it more heavy weighted toward Jeremy since he's got the experience?
Well, we'll go with Jeremy just because he has the experience, and he's going to play as much as he can. You know, a lot of times with a running back, you do need to give him a rest, and we're going to feel very comfortable when Corbin goes into the game.
Did this senior class kind of take the take the leadership mantle that you wanted, given that it is so small?
Well, what were you able to do with this senior class? You have some really strong personality, and I know this Stein doesn't play, but he has such a strong personality that guys will follow his lead. When he speaks, guys will listen to him. And even with Mario, has a really strong personality, and Bouchel on defense. So you were able to, you know, take like 3 or 4 guys out of senior class, and those guys were able to stand up and they would speak, and players would listen to them. So they were able to take that leadership role.
Charlie, what did you think when you heard the talk of Rutgers to the Big Ten? Are you thinking enough already? When is this going to end?
Well, you just don't. I try not to get caught up in that because really my focus right now is just go prepare this team for these next 2 games. But it's all about, not just know this, our AD and our president is going to put us in the best position. So, you know, with those teams leaving, hopefully we can continue to keep this conference together, and whomever leaves, someone else will come in. But it's all about us in these next 2 games more than anything.
Does it change your feelings about the Big East at all?
Well, the whole, I guess when you look at it is just the stability of the whole league. And, you know, there's someone else, that's 5 teams in the last, 2 years that has walked away from this league. But it's still, though, we know this, we're in a great position we're in, we have great facilities, we have a great AD, and with each sport, not only football and basketball, but you look at Ann Cordish, she goes and wins the Big East in volleyball. You look at what we do in soccer, you look at what Sandy did in baseball, or women's softball, I'm sorry. But we just, even in baseball, but we have enough where with each one of our sports, we are so successful that, you know, at some point somebody's going to turn around and look at Louisville and say, look at what they're doing. Or maybe they may be afraid to let us come in for what we're doing. Who knows?
Yeah, is that a head scratcher for you though? Because the program is so strong in so many areas, and every other school's getting these invitations.
Well, I guess what you have to look at is what are they looking for. And I have no idea what they're looking for, but we have a lot to offer.
You mentioned that you control your own destiny and there's nothing anyone else can do to you. Are you talking about both winning the Big East and with some of this other stuff off the field? Is that sort of extra motivation?
Well, it is. And what our players have to understand is more about just winning the Big East, because we do control our own destiny. You know, we have a Connecticut coming in here, and then you have to go on the road to Rutgers, but still, it's all about us. You know, it's never what someone is going to do to you. You know, even when you talk about execute, just execute the defense and just go play hard, play with a lot of effort, guys, and good things that happen for you.
Will DeBose be back this week or in Charles' game?
The Boser games will not be back this week.
Are they officially? I mean, are they still on the team?
Yeah, they're on the team, but they just won't be back.
Do you feel that there's any residual effect mentally to that loss? Or do you feel like you cleaned house on that?
Well, you would think you clean house. We're 9-1, so we've won 9 games up until that point. So it's time to move on. Don't let one loss beat you twice. And that's what been the talk with the guys. Let's move on. We have 2 games left. Let's get into those 2 games. And right now, just look at it. You're 0-0. We don't have 9 wins. We don't have 1 loss. You're ready to go into a new season. So we have 2 games left. So let's go see and let's go play these next 2 games.
How aware do you think that made your players about spoilers? I mean, with Syracuse, did that kind of get your attention there, that you can't look past anybody?
Well, they just know it's a very competitive league. I don't think they were looking past anybody. Syracuse is a good football team, and they've shown that. They beat us, and they go to Missouri and beat them. So it's all about us. And we didn't play well that day, so if you don't play well on that day, then things that happen to you. On that day, you have to play well with any football team. When you go and compete, then each week you got to bring your best, and we didn't bring our best on that day.
You think you have more to offer the ACC than Connecticut does?
Oh, I don't know, Tim. Hey, I just know this. We have a good program in all our sports, and I don't know what Connecticut has, but we have a lot to offer. And like I said, our president and our athletic director, Tom, they get us headed in the right direction. But, you know, we can get caught up in all that. I don't want us to get caught up in that, because I just want our focus right now to let's go get these next two somehow.
Are you much of a traditionalist, though, when it comes to some of these alignments, things like that? I mean, you kind of look at conference loyalty and think that is it just a different landscape now?
Well, it's a different landscape, and you just look at it, it's all driven by TV money and with the conferences and what they're trying to do. So it's not so much what I am, it's just where you end up. So wherever you end up, where they place you, that's where you have to go play.
Your teams here have always bounced back after a loss, like 8-9 for you. Is there anything you do different after a loss than you do after a win to reset the team?
Well, what we've done is we've been able to take that week off, so you got ready then that bye week. And so now our players, you know what has happened now within this program, a lot has changed, so they understand now what's in front of them. And I think now they know how to practice, and they know now that, you know, we dropped one, but still, though, it didn't hurt us. I mean, we lose a game, but still, guys, there's 2 games. You got no matter what happened at Syracuse, the road was going to still stop in Rutgers. That's where it was going to stop. You had to go there anyway.
How closely did you watch that Cincinnati-Rutgers game, and what can you kind of learn from that?
I didn't watch that game at all. I didn't watch it because I'm going to get the film on it, so I didn't watch Cincinnati-Rutgers because I know we still got to play Rutgers, so it didn't really matter on that day, but I didn't watch it.
Do you prefer to wait until you get that film and not watch it on like the TV broadcast?
Well, when you get the film, you can actually break it down more because you can sit there and you can run the playback and you can run it forward and you can look at a lot of different things and just look at how they really attacked them. But, you know, at the end of the day, still, we got to take care of Connecticut. We can't get ahead of ourselves and start worrying about Rutgers because if we go in there and get slapped around in this game, that game it means nothing to us then.
Connecticut traditionally has a good rushing attack. What does your front 7 need to do to kind of improve their rushing defense?
Well, we got to stop the run. You know, we have to get off caps and make sure that we can separate off of blocks and go make tackles and not give up the big play on defense.
Charlie, since you lost to Syracuse, 3 other undefeateds have fallen. What do you think that says about the state of college football right now?
But if you look at it, it's just so tough and just to keep a team focused and locked in for 12 or 13 consecutive weeks, that's what's really tough. Because even though, you know, you're sitting there undefeated and then all of a sudden the target becomes on your back, so everybody's looking to gun you down. And if you're not at your best on a day, then you can go in and lose. I mean, you look at Oregon, they lost at home, and which is very unusual for them. But those things can happen to you, and then you look at Kansas State, they go into Baylor. Baylor was at their best that day, and they ended up playing very well. But that's what happens. When you come in and undefeated, then teams are really, they're ready to go play you. And that's why with your team, they has to understand, because even though we're undefeated, let's not get full of ourselves, because that team is going to be ready to come and play us.
Do you think there's more parity now than there was 10 years ago?
Well, I think it is, because if you just look at just each year, it's so tough for a team to go undefeated. And, you know, Notre Dame is sitting there, and they're in a good position right now because they go to SC, but still, though, at the end of the day, with the parity in college football, and it's just an athletics period, it's just so tough because recruiting offsets a lot of it.
How crucial has Mario Benavidez been to this kind of building of the program, 44 starts, 20 consecutive starts?
Well, Mario's is probably, his building is because he's started more than any other senior within the program. But still, though, you can't take anything from the rest of those guys. But Mario's been just a solid impact there in the middle for us. But the rest of those players also have had a great influence themselves.
You said you like to buy here because the loss would kind of linger with the team. Did it linger with you? And how long did it take for you to get over it?
Well, the whole thing, you can't let it linger because you can't let one bad loss then have effect on the next game. So you have to move on. And that's what I told our players. I said, guys, we're 9-1. We won 9 games up to that point. Okay, so we're going to let a loss just all of a sudden define our season for us. We're not going to do it. So let's move on. We have 2 games left. Let's go get ready for these next 2 games.
When you look back at that film, was there one thing where you went, this is not a Charlie Strong football team?
Well, you just, it's been 2 weeks ago, and I tried not to look back at it, but you just didn't like the way we played. That's what I said to him. I just didn't like the way we played that day. But yeah, that happens. You don't get ready to play. We didn't get them ready to play. You get beat like that.
Charlie, you kind of mentioned the I guess, maturation of the team and the program being able to bounce back from losses. Were you aware that the Call of Duty came out? And,
Yeah, I could have blamed it on the Call of Duty. I wish it had came out that week of Syracuse. I could have blamed it on the Call of Duty.
that no distraction this year?
Oh.
Charlie, how you feel like these seniors, I mean, they were already here when you guys came on board, how they just adjusted to kind of becoming the kind of players that you wanted to be?
What was key when we came here is we needed them to become us, and they did. And a lot of times when you take over a program, you look at that class, and the Stein and those guys are sitting here, we came into it, we talking about rebuilding, and they jumped on board with us. A lot of times guys will try to fight you, but I think that what helped them more than anything was that first senior class. When you talk about Wetter and that group of guys there, I think that group bought in with Bilal Powell, and that group bought in Johnny Patrick. They bought in for us. So then the next groups just followed.
Troy, what does it say about those guys, though, that like even Stein and Cupper, I mean, like 5 of the 9 or whatever started as walk-ons in this class. What does that say about those guys and their kind of mentality?
Well, it just speaks volumes of their work ethic. And you think of, you're right, the 5 of those guys were walk-ons, and you look at it like, wow. But they stayed into the program, and they just got better and better. And they went about their work, didn't say anything. And a lot of times when that happens with guys, then good things will happen for them. And you just look at, you look at Cup, he comes here as a walk-on and probably one of our best offensive linemen right now. And then, I think about Andrell. Was when I first got here, never would even speak, never opened his mouth, and now he's developing a personality. And Ratcliffe has always had that. He's always had an edge to him. Probably thought he's a little better than what he is, but he's played pretty good this season. But Ratcliffe has been that way, and even with Bouchel, he gambles a lot, but has played and has had a really good career. And Daniel Brown, he was similar a lot. Just like I was speaking about Andrell, never would say anything, but it's been fun to watch. Even with Hauser, with Bo Eggers, with Stephen Goodwin, all of those guys, what they've contributed to this program and what they've done for this program.
What did Stein show you when you put him in that game at Rutgers? And after that, you were calling a little far. And that game also was so important to the process because that got you to that first bowl game.
Well, you know what happened? We get into that game, and Stein, he's always been just just cocky. He's always been one of those guys. Always, and it's not so much the little man syndrome, but he want to prove that he's a really good player. So we get up there, and who was it? Burke goes down, and I think it was a second quarter or something. And then I look around, and I we're huddled up there on the sideline. So I walk in the huddle with the offense, and I said, oh, God, here he comes. Here comes Little Farm. You boys better get ready. Little Farm is coming in the game. And everybody started laughing. He's like, I got this. And you remember, he goes in and he throws a touchdown pass, and he points at me on the sideline. But that was that game. We won that game, got us to our first bowl game. But, it's just a delight. When you have players like that, and they know their role, which Stein has known his role, and then you get a player like Teddy to come in who is so talented, and then you're thinking, okay, here I am going to be the starting quarterback, then I get another guy like Teddy comes in. But just the way he has just accepted his role within this program, and how it's love to watch him, because he will do anything. And he asked you, Coach, what do you need me to do? Just been such a trooper for us in this program. But you want guys like that in your program. You love to have guys like Stein, who you wish that he had 4 more years here within this program. And I looked at him and said, boy, this is it for you now. I said, oh, I know it. I can't believe it. But you love to have guys like that within your program.
Will guys like Stein and Radcliffe end up being coaches, you think, coming down the road?
I think they will, because Stein, it's like Burke he already has an MBA, and Stein's in the MBA program now. And I said, why would you get into the MBA program and want to coach? I just don't understand why waste all your time? But I think that, but just because of his personality, I think he has that within him to go be a football coach, and he will, because it's just who he is, and it's just the way he just loves working with young people, and then I think he'll be an outstanding coach.
Charlie, have you or your representatives heard from Tennessee?
No, I have not heard from Tennessee. No, I have not heard from Tennessee.
Do you like Rocky Top?
Rocky Top is all right. I got to finish out right here. We have 2 games left, all right? We have 2 games left. Can't worry about nowhere else, kind of, CL. Got to take care of, we got to take care of our business here.
How did Hakeem Smith bounce back? He had a tough game at Syracuse in coverage. What did you see out of him?
Well, not more than, it was more of us and Hakeem, because you know what happened was Syracuse placed limit in the slot position, knowing that when we play man coverage, our strong safety covers number 2. But we made the switch late in the game, but that should have been, we should have known that right away, because you don't ever want to match up a wide receiver on a safety. You want the cornerback inside. So what we did, we took the corner, moved Bouchel inside, and took Hakeem and moved him back outside. But even that, you know, that happens, you're still in man free, so you have a guy in the middle of the field. We just didn't do a good job getting over the top. We didn't do a good job at all. Not only there, but heck, we let him run the ball too. So it was a combination of run and pass.
Bouchel meant to the secondary last couple of years. He sort of fell from the sky in August.
Well, I told Bouchel last year this was the game for him. If you remember, we go to Connecticut and we need to win that game to get to a bowl game. Bouchel returns the opening kickoff and played very well. He should have had another one for a big play. But, you know, he coming in here as a junior college player and has really been a great addition for us, have started and has done a good job. Very talented, but Bouchel's been a great addition for our program, big-time addition. Okay? Thanks, guys. Rocky's up.